Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? Jared Fuller here. Today is Sunday, May 20th, 2018. You may hear my fan in the background here because it's like really roasting hot in here. It's like 80 degrees in here and I'm sweating and I want to do this video update and get it out of the way, but it's like really warm in here. I hope you all had a good week. My week's been pretty productive. I've been writing new poetry for Warriors. I hope you've had a chance to watch some of the videos I posted to my YouTube channel. And, you know, I'm currently in the middle of another poem, but I'm stuck. I'm just about ready to finish that poem off. I have like 8 more lines that I have to write, and then I'll post the poem video. But poetry is very expressing. It's subjective. And I express sentiment to the Warriors because, you know, it's a tough journey. And I want them to know that they're loved and they're cared about, and that there's someone right here who knows what childhood cancer is. I lived it. And with that being said, I guess this week what I want to do is introduce myself a little bit better for those of you who are first-time viewers of my channel. So what I do is I do Sunday video updates like this, 1 video a week every Sunday. It doesn't matter what time that the video gets on as long as I do it on Sunday. It's been preempted a few times for other obvious reasons. But I do a video once a week, every Sunday, to talk about the week prior in review. I am a childhood cancer survivor. I had stage 3 unilateral Wilms tumor. It was my right kidney, which explains why all of the bracelets are worn on my right wrist, because it symbolizes the removal of the right kidney. A lot of people didn't know that, or they just, you know, they overlooked that. But anyway, I've been a survivor since 1989. I was diagnosed to age 2.5 on March 2nd, 1989. I had of course I had chemo. I had vincristine, the red double, which is doxorubicin, and actinomycin D. I had 8 rounds of radiation treatment. I had a blood transfusion, and I was treated at Sparrow in Lansing, Michigan, and all of my checkups were at the MSU clinic in East Lansing on the campus of Michigan State University, and that was all throughout the 90s. So that was a good bulk of my childhood, was the checkups in East Lansing. My nickname is Jer Bear, or Brother Bear. You can call me anything you want as long as you don't call me late for dinner bear. But I became an advocate in 2013, and I was about 26, I think, when I discovered that I needed to be a voice for the kids. And the reason that it had taken me so long, because I think all warriors go through this, all survivors go through this. There's that period of time after the battle that you think, okay, this is done. That chapter of my life has been written, closed. Until you discover that the situation with funding and research is progressively worse now than it's ever been. And so that's what brought me back. Well, I actually didn't leave. I've always been in the community, but I didn't become an active member of that community until 2013. And for the past 5 years, I've been being a voice for the kids. I've been writing the poetry. I've been visiting warriors. I've been to their houses. I go to the hospitals. I do all that stuff. And as you can imagine, yes, I have haters. But that's, you know, the good and bad. It comes with territory on anything you do. So not only am I an advocate for funding and research, but I also have a big fat advocate mouth, and I love to expose the frauds in the community. And one way that you can expose the frauds is by visiting this website right here called guidestar.org. That will give you information about 501c3 nonprofit organizations and LLCs tied in with the federal government. If you type in certain names, you know, like people have these campaigns, right? Well, you can go to guidestar.org, you can type in the name, and if you don't find any search results, under the person's name or the name of the campaign, quote unquote, then guess what? They're not legitimate. And you've either been snookered out of money, you've been scammed out of money, or the people have lied to you. And trust me, folks, there are plenty of sharks in the community. They call themselves advocates when in fact they're doing it for reasons that are atypical. If you're an advocate, the typical reason would be because you have a heart and you express a strong interest. A lot of these people are in it just to make themselves look good. You know, it's an ego boost because, you know, they weren't the popular kid in high school. And, you know, of course, a lot of people could say that about me, but the difference is that I'm actually a survivor. That was my childhood, you know. So anytime I talk about childhood cancer in my videos or elsewhere, there's a bit of personal experience that goes into that. So you're going to hear all kinds of crap and garbage and nonsense about, oh, Jared Fuller is this and he's that. Yeah, I'm a guy who speaks the truth, and that's what pisses people off. But oh well. That's part of being an advocate is, you know, you got to be willing to speak out against those who are being fraudulent and they're engaging in chicanery, and you just have to be willing to be a voice. If you're going to be a voice for the kids, then be the voice for the kids. I don't have a problem with that. But don't use families and kids. Don't attach yourself to vulnerable people just to get something. Because that's, you know, these families have enough to deal with as it is. There's a lot of stress with parents, and they're trying to take care of their very sick children. And people often, you know, they get mad at me because I'm very open and outspoken about the frauds. But you have to be. You just have to be. There's no getting around that. And yeah, there's one person in particular for the past 2 years that I've been very outspoken about, which I guess erupted into this big group of haters, these people who quote-unquote boycott me because I spoke the truth. And the truth is, if I was in their position, I would hate me too. So I'm okay with that. But the thing is, being an advocate means that you have to be willing to speak up about the frauds. There's plenty of them. And if you are a regular viewer of my channel, you know that I'm very outspoken, and I just don't care who gets mad at me. You know, not everybody's going to like me, and that's okay, because chances are I probably don't like them either. But at the end of the day, if someone is being unethical and dishonest, I'm going to say something. Because just because it doesn't affect me, it doesn't mean that I should turn a blind eye to it. It's affecting somebody else. And this is something that I hear a lot. Well, you know, Jared, they didn't do anything to my family, so okay, cool. I'm glad that they didn't do anything to your family. I'm thankful for that. I'm grateful that they didn't take advantage of your family, but guess what? They're taking advantage of somebody else's family, which is not cool. Not cool. But, you know, it's always going to be something I talk about. And, you know, I've been trying to keep that out of my Sunday video updates. I don't want to, you know, talk about this every week. But I will keep reiterating GuideStar.org because there's a lot of people who are kept out of the loop on what's going on. And you need to be aware. If you are a parent of a warrior, you really need to be aware of who you're getting yourself into. And if you have questions about a particular individual, you can find my email address in the About tab section of my YouTube channel. Please don't hesitate to email me. And if you are interested in carrying on a civilized conversation, then we'll have a talk. But if you're going to email me just to bitch and complain and bellyache about, oh, I don't like what you're saying about such and such, and you're going to get sued, I'm not interested. Take it somewhere else, because empty legal threats do nothing for me. I'm a childhood cancer survivor. I'm not intimidated by people who want to threaten to sue because I speak the truth about them. It's going to take a lot more than that. And the only reason that I talk about it so much, and the only real reason that I introduce GuideStar.org every week, is because I really and honestly and truthfully care about these families. I love these families, and I don't want to see them get mixed up with a fraud. I mean, there's a video on my YouTube channel. It's called Breaking My Silence, where I actually say the person's name. And there's all, I mean, it's bad. This person, and if you watch it, you'll know who I'm talking about. He's been involved in all kinds of shady business deals. He's had felony drug possession charges against him, and he was using sick kids to circumvent the consequences of his probation. I'm not making this up. And if you have Facebook, someone on Facebook actually had a live video, and they were they were reading off the court documents in a live video. Most of you know who I'm talking about. And by the way, I don't have a beef with that person who read off the court documents. I never had an issue with that person, but it has nothing to do with me. My issue with people like that is, well, this person in particular, I've actually talked to on the phone. And in the beginning, I thought he was cool. And then I found out what a snake he was. And then I told him to kiss my white American ass. Because we don't need people like that, like him, in this community. We just don't. But anyway, point made. So being an advocate for me means that you have to be willing to speak out and speak up about the advocates. You have to be willing to, there's just a lot of things, you have to really throw yourself into it. For me, being a survivor, now I can't escape that. That's a lifelong, permanent thing for me. Now, if I choose to take a break and say, hey, I just need some time to myself, it's not that I don't love you, but I need a break, I'm entitled to do that, because for the past 5 straight years, I've been doing as much as I can and reaching out to as many people as I can tirelessly, because people need to know that if they need someone to turn to, not only am I an advocate for funding and research and exposing the frauds, but I'm also someone you can talk to. I'm no stranger to childhood cancer at all. My parents, I mean, every time I talk about it, they get upset, because it's just a very painful moment in their lives. And I understand that, and I try to respect that as much as I can. But the more information I gather about my battle, my education expands about what I had gone through. Because, there's also people who say that I was too little to really understand, which is irrelevant either way. But the more my education expands about my battle, I'm able to reintroduce back into the pediatric cancer community. And that's what I want to do. I just want to help people, and I want to show people that they are not alone. And they've got their Jer Bear. Jer Bear is not going anywhere, not for a long time. And I'm looking forward to meeting more friends, more, I consider family. People who live out of state. I just have to save up some cash and, save up some money for plane fare, for airline tickets. Never flown on a plane before. I'm kind of nervous about that, but I'm more excited than anything, because it's not just people in the childhood cancer community that I'm going to be meeting, but if you can believe that, or if you can believe this, there are also people in the entertainment industry, actors, who want to meet me, and I want to meet them, and I hope I get to. If I have to fly wherever, I'll do it. I just want to meet them, maybe stay a weekend with them or whatever. Because I've supported, not only do I'm an advocate for childhood cancer research funding, but I'm also a person who supports actors and actresses. I've been friends with a lot of actors for a good many years. Yeah, I live in Michigan, so gee, who does Jared Fuller know? I know quite a bit of people. I have connections. You know, I've met a lot of actors, a lot of famous people. I've spoken to a lot of, I consider them to be famous. I've talked to them over the phone. We've done, well, we actually haven't done Skype yet. I have Skype, if any of you have Skype, and I just discovered I have Duo on my phone, which is an app for video chatting, which I'm going to have to set up an account through Duo. But, yeah, so I'm very active in the childhood cancer community. I'm not doing this for kudos. I'm not doing this for the pat on the shoulder. I'm not doing this, you know, I'm going to get in pictures, you know. I'm not doing this to make myself popular or famous or anything else like that. I'm an advocate because I'm advocating for the funding and research for cures of a disease that was thrown at me when I was just a baby. And yeah, I take that very personally. And all these people who say that, you know, Jared Fuller's this and Jared Fuller's that, bite me. You know, just bite me. I don't care. I don't know why people are the way they are. They just don't like truth, I guess. They don't like to be proven wrong. And I don't know, they somehow think that I'm this horrible, bad, evil person. Yeah, whatever. But I'm not. I'm a person who genuinely and openly cares about my friends. I consider them more of a family than friend, but you know, that's just my personality. I care about my friends deeply. I wear my heart on my sleeve all the time. But I am a person who genuinely cares about people, and I just don't like to see anybody go through things that I've gone through, and it's very personal to me. And I want to help. I'm not doing this for kudos. I'm not doing this for press. I'm not doing this. See, that's what most people are doing this for. While, you know, they pick childhood cancer, and I was having this discussion with a friend of mine. She's a mom of a cancer warrior. We were having this conversation, and she couldn't understand, like, how are these people, why, of all things that they could be advocating for, why childhood cancer? What is it about childhood cancer that grabs them? Because there are certainly numerous things in the world that are plaguing children daily and killing children daily. So why childhood cancer? Why not something else? And I agree with her. I'm actually curious as to know the answer to that question as well. Why specifically and particularly childhood cancer? Why not some other debilitating disease? Or why not be an advocate for, you know, like putting people away for abusing children or starving children? Why not advocate for the punishments for the people who are hurting kids? I mean, you can advocate for anything you want, obviously, but we're just kind of curious as to how it all happened, you know, the snowball effect. How did you get to this point? What made you decide to be an advocate for childhood cancer? And if your heart isn't in the right place, it'll speak for itself every time. If you are in this community just to make yourself look good and to bolster your ego, get out of here. Go somewhere else. We need honest people who make it about the kids, and they make it about getting the word out. And I even had an advocate when I had, on Facebook. I had an advocate block me all because I ranted. Right up until the point that I had ranted about something, it was because someone had said that I was too little to remember, and I went off on a tangent about that. We were good up until that point. Then she blocked me. And it's like, wow. And you call yourself an advocate? Well, the difference between me and you is that I actually gone through that. I had actually gone through that. So who are you to judge me? You don't know the first thing what I went through. That's my dad in the background. You don't know the first thing about what I went through. So who the hell are you to judge me when I get upset or when I want to rant about something? Who are you to block me because, oh, well, I don't want drama? Well, it's not for you to decide. I'll be the judge of that. Thank you very much. And if I want to rant, I'm going to rant. I rant in my videos. Maybe not every week, but if I ranted as much as I wanted to, I don't think I'd have a channel. I would lose all of my subscribers. My 140 plus subscribers would go really fast. But that's a little bit about me. For those of you who are first time viewers of my YouTube channel and you're just curious about what I'm up to on YouTube, this is it. I do Sunday video updates. I have one video every Sunday. I talk about the week in review, which I'll get to shortly. And I post other random videos, like I have my poem videos, and I had videos of Lake Michigan when I was in Muskegon a couple weeks ago, and the sun was shining on the water. It was just beautiful. And I have, like gag videos, like just grin and bear it, and why eating paper is bad, and all that stuff. So it's just a variety, a different variety, and a random selection of different videos that I just put on my channel and let people do what they want to do. And the reason that the comments are disabled on my videos is because the trolls, the problem people, my haters, they can't control themselves. And I'm trying to maintain that level of, if you're going to come on my channel and just be nasty, I'm going to remove your ability to comment, because I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to sign on my YouTube channel just to get a bunch of negative crap thrown at me. So I'm sorry if I've allowed other people to ruin that for those of you who otherwise wouldn't. But it gets tiresome going through deleting comment after comment after comment about, oh, Jared Fuller this, Jared Fuller that, you're going to get sued. Shut the hell up. I'm not going to get sued. And even if I am going to get sued, oh well, I'll get sued for the right reasons, which is defending children and their families, because we don't need fraudulent people. Ever. Zip. Zilch. Zero. Be gone. But anyway, I'm not married. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have kids. I mean, you see it. This is what I do. At least once a week, anyway, I do the Sunday video updates, and I upload poem videos. I like to go on joyrides. I've been all over the state of Michigan. That's where I'm from. This is where I'm at now, Lower Michigan. I grew up in Chesaning most all my life. I have family from all over, inside and outside of Michigan. My dad and I are roommates, and I go on half of the expenses here. So I pay half of the electric, I pay half of the propane, I pay half of the property taxes, and then I pay my own internet bill, I pay for my cell phone, I pay my own car insurance, I pay for my own gas, and I drive a van, because vans are fairly fuel efficient, and for two, they're good for traveling. And that's what I want to do. I like to travel. I like to go to different places and just to see different things and just to check things out. And there are a lot of people in the childhood cancer community who just want to meet me, and I'm just so anxious and excited and eager to meet them. But, you know, it takes money, and money is just one thing I have to save up, or maybe take out a loan. Who knows? But I'll get there. I'll see them. But I've never flown on a plane before, so I'm kind of nervous about that. I don't know what I can and can't take on an airplane and my carry-on luggage. But, you know, I'll get the hang of it, and when I get over the fear of flying, I'm sure I'll want to do it more. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm the youngest of three boys. My middle brother's Jay. My oldest brother's named Wayne. And there's a lot of confusion with that because my dad's name is Wayne, and I have an older brother named Wayne. And people ask me all the time, well, I thought Wayne was your dad. You say he's your brother. No. My dad's name is Wayne Anthony Fuller. My oldest brother, his name is Wayne Edwin Fuller. He's named after his grandpa because my brother Wayne come from my dad's first marriage, and then Jay and myself had come from my dad's second marriage. So yeah, Wayne's my half-brother. He's a brother. He's a brother. So to talk about last week, because that's what I'm here for, to talk about the week in review. Just the poems, you know, I've been writing poetry, and that's about it. I've been hanging out in my bedroom. I don't know, I've slipped into a bit of a depression again, and it's just it's never a good thing. But, you know, I'm doing okay. I'm making do with you know, just taking one day at a time. I'm thinking I might have to go back to see my doctor, Dr. Small, because my depression, I can feel it. I have depression and bipolar anxiety, so I'm most likely going to have to be put back on prescription medication to treat that. And I'm not a fan of medicine because I've had medicine all my life, and again, I thought that part of my life was done. Your life, as long as you're living, medicine will always be an urgent need. So I'm going to have to set up an appointment soon with the family doc and get put on some kind of a depression med, if he's able to prescribe that. I don't see why he couldn't. I really don't want to go to a psychiatrist. I'm not good with psychiatrists. If anything's bothering me, that's why I have a journal. I've been writing journals for, this November will be the past 19 years. I've been writing journals since I was 13. So I'm not really good with psychiatrists. But I will say that if I have to take a happy pill, you know, to get me in uppity spirits, and so be it. I don't smoke pot. I know a lot of people suggest that. Well, why don't you smoke some grass? You know, I don't want to smoke weed. I used to when I was younger, but I don't do it anymore. And I'm not going to say I grew up because that would be insensitive. People smoke weed for various different reasons, whether it be for recreational use or medicinal use. And by recreational, I mean just smoking it for the hell of it, which people do. But it doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't kill anybody. There are 0 reported deaths from marijuana. But I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole of legality with marijuana and government restriction regulation. It's just too much. I'm not a very political person. I'm not, Yeah, I only voted one time in my life when I was 18, and I think we were voting for a governor. It was back in 2004 or 2005. I just turned 18, so it was 2004. That was the one and only time I've ever voted in my life, and I vowed to never do it again. Because back then, the ballot was like that long. And you could crisscross between Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat. Now, you have to vote either all Republican or all Democrat. Either way, I don't see a difference at all in Democrat or Republican. I just think that they're people who we put in power, and when they don't operate to our satisfaction, we throw a fit. And it's one of the reasons I don't vote. And people say, well, Jared, I don't vote because my vote don't matter. Well, I don't vote for the opposite reason. Because if it does matter, and I vote for someone who's going to ruin everything, well, that's partially my fault. I don't want that on my conscience. Because there's a lot of fighting, bickering back and forth about candidates and well, you should have voted for this, or you should have voted for that, or you should have voted for him or her. I just want no part of it. I don't get involved. I stay out of it, and I just go about my life and mind my own business and just do what I have to do to live and to thrive and to help people. And help people honestly. So I don't vote. I'm not political. What do I like to do for fun? Write poetry. Go on joyrides. Write my journal. Listen to music. I like 60s and 70s and 80s music. I was born in 1986, so there was still some good music going on in the 80s, but I'm a bigger fan of 60s and 70s music, the music that my parents grew up with. My dad likes country music. He's a country music aficionado. He grew up listening to guys like Roy Acuff and Ernest Tubb, Minnie Pearl, all the people on the Grand Ole Opry. Buck Owens, he used to watch Hee Haw. So, and I feel a sneeze coming on. I knew it was coming. I didn't think it was going to happen twice, but I knew it was coming. So yeah, my dad, he was in the Army. He served 6 years in the United States Army from 1977 to 1983. And he was stationed out of Saginaw, 125th Infantry Division, Bravo Company. And my uncle, his brother, served 10 years in the United States Army. So yeah, I'm a son of a gun. In a broad sense, I guess. Given that my dad used to carry an M16 on his back, along with his ruck, as they call it. I don't think I could handle a drill sergeant screaming in my face. It just wouldn't work. Wouldn't work. My mother, she's still alive. I don't know. I mean, I don't really talk to my mom as much as I'd like to. She's kind of living her own life now. I seen her on Mother's Day last week. Took her out to eat, and then after that, I don't know what she does in her life. So, I mean, my mom and dad are divorced now. They've been divorced for 16 years. They were married for about 20. They were married in 1982, divorced in 2002 when I was 15, going on 16. And, of course, I was in the middle of that. Mom and dad divorced. I'm in the middle. And then I have to make a decision who I want to stay with, mom or dad. Mom was living uptown. Dad was living here. I wanted to live with my dad. And not saying that my mother wouldn't have given me the freedom to explore the world. But, I mean, since I've lived with my dad, I've been able to do a lot. So, I love my mom nonetheless, and, you know, we're just not as close as I would like to be with her. But I'm very close with my dad. But, you know, just because I'm more closer to one parent than the other, it doesn't mean that I love that other parent any less. I don't. I love my parents dearly. But I just happen to be closer to my dad than my mother. But, anywho, my brothers have children. My brother Jay has Corey, Angel, Ariana, Isabella. So he's got about I think he's got 4 kids. Corey, Angel, Ariana, Isabella. Yeah, 4 kids, 4 daughters. And my oldest brother Wayne has 1 daughter, Montana. Jerry Bear has 0. I have no children. But I am single. I'm available. I just haven't found her yet. Excuse me. I haven't found her yet. Everybody says, oh, Jared, she's out there waiting for you. And us single people, we hear that kind of talk all the time. Well, she's out there. You just got to be patient. And, yeah. If it happens, it happens. I mean, I would like to have somebody in my life, and I don't want to be alone forever. Obviously, nobody wants to. But I think the key is you have to be comfortable. You have to learn how to be comfortable in either situation. I can be comfortable being single because I'm free to explore. I can do the things I want to do. But at the same time, I wish I had a female, a woman, with me so she can explore with me. So when I go to meet the cancer kids and when I do all these wonderful things, when I like to go on joyrides, I would like to have a woman with me. I'd like to have a companion. I'd like to be in a relationship. And I've struggled with relationships. You know, even in high school, I didn't have girlfriends. Even in my adult years, I just haven't had a lot of girlfriends. I've been with women, but, I mean, nothing, no long-term relationship. But I would really like to be in a meaningful relationship with somebody. It's just, I don't know. For me, it's always been a struggle. So that's why I don't even care, really. But I keep that door ajar just a little bit because you never know. If love comes knocking on my door, I'm not going to ask a lot of questions. I want to jump on that opportunity if the chance comes along. But it hasn't yet. I'm almost 32, and it's a trip. Because there's kids who are younger than me in relationships, having kids. There's people older than me. I mean, I'm like the last of my friends who never got married, never had kids, still single. So I'm kind of like in the middle. I'm like the eye of the hurricane. I'm just sitting in the middle and watching everybody else around me find people to love them and have families of their own. And I'm just in the middle like, that must be nice. Just to be loved and to be looked after and to be thought about. Wow. It must be nice to be loved. I mean, I've had people, women in particular, not just people. I've had women text me and, well, my boyfriend beat me up. So then call the police. Do I look like a cop to you? If someone, your so-called husband, man, boyfriend, sleazebag, whatever he is, if he has the balls to put his hands on you, then you should be throwing his ass in jail. You should be pressing charges. But no, what do the women do? They take him right back. Oh, he didn't mean it. He said he wouldn't do it anymore. Yeah. So if you're just going to make excuses for him, and if you're going to keep taking him back, leave me alone and figure this out on your own, because I want no part of it. It's not that I don't care, but I care to a limit. Don't call me with a sob story if you're just going to take the jerk back. So, I'm not a relationship expert because I'm not in one. But, you know, I have common sense, which is free, by the way, and those who lack common sense will buy into anything. And I mean anything. Which is exactly why we have frauds in the childhood cancer community. Because we have gullible people who will believe a fraud and take their word that they are these wonderful, magnificent people. And mind you, and yeah, I'm going back to the childhood cancer thing again, but it's just, it gets under my skin. It gripes my backside knowing that there are people out there who continuously get away with playing mind games on people, with manipulating people masterfully and you know, in a professional manner. It just blows my mind. I don't know. It's like I'm dumbstruck. It's like, how do you people not understand that what this person is doing is friggin' wrong, and you don't seem to give a damn either way? And I just want to know why. Well, he's doing good things. No, he's not doing anything good. He or she. But particularly he. There's no reason, and I'm just going to bring this up. There's no reason why anybody should ever have to leave home to raise awareness to childhood cancer. That's absurd. It's obnoxious. And if you're that right there alone just tells me that should be a clear indication that if you think you have to leave home to raise awareness to something, to people who are already aware, mind you, then what's the whole point of leaving? Why do you have to drive from one end of America to another? There's people who can raise awareness out of the privacy of their own homes. They don't have to leave home. I don't have to leave home to raise awareness, but why do I want to go and visit people? Because they're my family. I mean, they're friends to most people. To me, they're my family. And I want to see them. I want to meet them. I want to hang out with them and spend time with them. We've had talks, meaningful talks in the past, which is why we haven't lost connection. My friendships with a lot of these families have been quite strong because I'm not using them. I'm not taking anything from them to enjoy paid vacations. I'm not taking anything from them just to say, hey, look at me. No, I want to meet these people because I want them to know that I understand this journey. I'm not just a schmo or a schmuck taking advantage of a delicate system. I actually and honestly know. I have done the research, although I think I'm a pretty knowledgeable person myself. There's more that I have to learn. You know, this doesn't happen overnight. The knowledge and the education, it just doesn't happen overnight. But I will say, being friends with, you know, a broad spectrum of people who were affected by different types of cancer, I can learn about that. And when the time comes where we're putting the spotlight on that particular cancer, then I'll have the knowledge. I'll have the, you know, I'll be able to say, these are the facts and these are the statistics. And even if I don't have it right in front of me, we have a thing called Google. And if I Google anything and I share it, it's to save people time. It's to save people the trouble. Although if I make a video and I want to include it in the Google search engine, it may be easier and more accessible for people to find if I click Google. So that way, when you type in the name Jared Fuller, you'll see my YouTube channel. Yes, my name appears in the Google search engine. But anyway, guys, wow, I've gotten off track again. So I want to talk a bit about the royal wedding, which most of you, I'm sure, have watched. You watched it yesterday. I didn't. And my personal take on the royal wedding boils right down to simple mathematics. I just don't care. And it's not to be mean or disrespectful or rude, but two people who marry, I don't think should be televised. I don't think the whole world should have to know that two people who fell in love decided to tie the knot. I just don't care. But I will say, in their defense, we've had more bad news recently with school shootings. I don't think it's ever going to end because people aren't willing to make changes. But I will say that the royal wedding, it was a break. You know what I mean? Like it was maybe it wasn't as ideal good news as most of us would have liked, but it was good news. It was something positive and uplifting, and most people would say spiritual. And it wasn't violent. It wasn't nasty or negative. It wasn't, you know, there were no pejoratives involved. It was something positive. And you really don't want to take away from something positive. Two people who fell in love got married. I say whoop-de-doo, but, you know, I just, even if it is royalty, I just don't care. Now, if I lived in England, maybe I would care. But I'm not British. I'm not from England. I'm from America, and I just don't give a crap. But I do wish them the best of luck nonetheless. I don't want to forget that. I don't want to leave that part out. I do wish them the best of luck in marriage and raising their kids or whatever. Who knows? I don't know enough about them to really say anything or to even care. And I can guarantee you they're not watching my YouTube channel. They don't care about Jared Fuller either, which that's okay too. I don't care if they care. Okay. But anywho, it is going on 5 o'clock, and I've been here for about 50 minutes, close to 50 minutes. So, I don't know what's on the agenda this week. I do have a donation jar for Braden Buddy Boy Miller, which is at the Schultz Central Pharmacy. That's in downtown Chesaning. And I have bird shirts. still in the process of being made. I called up the shop last week to find out what the status was on my order, and they said they ran out of ink. So might be sometime this week, hopefully. They'll call me and say, Jared, come and pick up your shirts. Cool. So when I pick them up, I just mail them out. And if this is your first time watching my channel or listening to me shoot off at the gums, so I have bird shirts made. If you look down in the corner of your screen, which would be right down there, you see the bird? I have that image silk screened onto a red shirt. And I have the Warriors' names on the backs. Now, what does that mean? What's the meaning behind the bird? I drew the bird back in 2013, back on April 1st of 2013. I was very heavily involved in my poetry then. I mean, I've always been heavily involved in my poetry, I would think. But I was heavily involved in my poetry, and I wanted to spice things up artistically. I wanted an image that would somehow symbolize me as a person, poetically. And so I wanted to draw a bird. Now, Michigan's state bird is the robin, of course, and we had this bird clock on our wall. And I tried to draw the bird. You know, I had like a stack of, you know, like computer paper like this here. Plain white computer paper. You know, just the regular white sheets of paper. And I had some sharp pencils, number 2 pencils, and I wanted to draw a bird. So I did. The first attempt was lousy. The second attempt at drawing the bird, I kind of just, you know, because I took my time. I didn't rush through it the second time. The first time I always rushed through it just to get it done. The second time I actually took my time drawing it. And so I'm sitting at my kitchen table and I'm just kind of glancing at it from a distance. I like that. I like that image. I think I did a good job with that. And so I was inspired by that, and I had written a poem called Birds of a Feather, which you can also see the poem video on my YouTube channel here. Well, that same year, in 2013, I decided to become an advocate for childhood cancer, and that's when I discovered, you know what? Us warriors are birds of a feather. We all, at some point, every which way, we know what childhood cancer is. The families know. We know what chemo is. We know what radiation is. We know what blood transfusions are. We know what LPs are, lumbar punctures. We know what all of these things are. And so we are birds of a feather. Collectively, there's an understanding here. It's like a great big family. We flock together because the saying is birds of a feather flock together. So we do, philosophically and poetically speaking, we flock together in this. So that's when I decided, aha, the bird, it represents warriors. I mean, we have the ribbons and you know, all the other stuff, but I want my image to have its place in the childhood cancer community, and it certainly has, and it blossomed into fruition. I've had T-shirts made up, and there are actually parents who they've wanted to send me money, and I tell them no, and I will still tell them no. Do not send me money. Please don't send me money. Keep your money. Because of all the bird shirts I've ever made, it's always been out of my pocket. Always out of my pocket. And the reason being, I don't want to break that regime. I don't want to break that how I have things going right now. I don't want to change anything. I want to be the one to pay for the bird shirts. And I do appreciate the gesture that a lot of parents, they think of me and they say, well, you know, I don't want you to cut yourself short, you know, paying for my son's or my daughter's shirt. It's not a problem. I'll deal with that in my own time. There's other things I can do. But the reason I tell parents to keep their money is because a good majority of the warriors are still receiving treatment. And by the time an emergency comes up, guess what? Their parents have spent the money on a shirt when they could have otherwise used that for gas to get their warrior to the hospital. They could have used that money to get their warrior something to eat. They could have used that money to get prescription medications for their warriors. Whatever it is they need for their kids, I want them to have those resources so they can get the things they need for their kids. I don't want them spending money, giving me money for a t-shirt. I'm not that way. I don't operate that way. I do what I do to help people because it feels good to help. I don't want that burden to be placed on parents. I mean, they're already going through enough. Now, if they ask me, hey, can I get a bird shirt made? Sure. It might not be right away. It'll take me a bit of time because I'm on a fixed income, but yeah, sure. I can have the shirts made. It's not a problem. And then, I'll put in the order. And I get a discount, by the way, from the shop that makes the shirts because they know what I'm doing for the kids. So they decided that I should get a discount. So, yay me. But I don't want parents sending me their money. I mean, I've given money. I've taken money out of my own pocket to give to the parents so they would have gas to get their child back and forth to Ann Arbor, to U of M, Mott Children's. That's just the kind of person I am. I want to make sure that I can help. There's another warrior who lives out in Grand Rapids, a couple of warriors who live in Grand Rapids. The one warrior I know, we've been talking about arranging plans to meet, and her warrior's sick right now, and Connor, if you're watching, I love you, and I hope you get better very soon. But we're still talking about it here and there. Because I really want to meet him. And there's a lot of warriors I want to meet, and I want to share my story. And I've met a lot of kids. A lot of kids. Like I said, I'm not just some Joe Schmo running door to door. I actually like to, and here's the thing too, is that not all of our conversations, not all of the conversations I have with oncology parents, they're not all wrapped around the ugly finger of childhood cancer. We talk about a lot of different random things. The dynamics of our conversations are bar none, I think, in my opinion. I think they're really just monumentally inspiring to me. Let me try that again. Monumentally inspiring. It's early and I'm getting tired and I can't speak, That's why I need coffee instead of Pepsi. But, and that's one of the reasons why I always say if you have Messenger, because I still have Messenger, and if you have Skype, and I'm going to be adding Duo, let's do video chats. If you'd like to do video chats with friends, let's set up a time where we can video chat. I'd love to talk to you face to face. And for those of you who can see this video, this is probably where the video chat will take place, in the same location where these Sunday video updates are shot and recorded with my webcam. So if the background looks familiar, well, that's why, because it's the same location. But I encourage it. There's people that I want to talk to. There's warriors I would love to talk to. And again, not for kudos, not for look at me. No, because I understand. Because I get it. And for any other reason. I mean, if you want to arrange a time to do a video chat and say, Jared, I would really like to talk to you about this. Or I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time on a video chat. Can we do that? Absolutely. Of course. I would love to do a video chat with you. And of course, I'll check my schedule and make sure that I have a day where I'm not doing anything. And of course, I'd love to. I thought you'd never ask. Anyway, I've been here for over an hour already. Yes. Slightly over an hour. Well, maybe approaching an hour. But there's so much going on within the child of cancer community. And, of course, there's a lot going on within the acting world as well. I used to have Twitter back in 2013, 14, 15, something like that. And it was just getting ridiculously out of hand with the trolls, which is why I walked away from Twitter. I got tired of the crap. A lot of the people that I still talk to, even to this day, we first met on Twitter. And we've been friends ever since, and we've been keeping in touch ever since. And I like that. There's people who don't believe the rumors of trolls. And there are those, quite frankly, who just can't think for themselves. And I did have a falling out with one person in particular, which eventually would snowball, and it would get around to all these other people. Oh, be careful of that Jared Fuller, he's being nasty to me. But what you didn't hear is the other side of the story. And so, if you hear anything nasty or negative about Jared Fuller, guess what? There's two sides to every story, and you're only going by one side. You one-sided moron. No. There are moronic people in the world, but not everybody's a moron. There are people who they've spoken to me, or they come to me and say, why do these people hate you so much, Jared? You haven't done anything to them. I don't know. Ask them and then get back to me with an answer, because I'm dying to know what I did. But it's social media, and I guess I breathed, I guess. I looked at them the wrong way. Who knows? I did say the F word, though, with one of them, because they pushed me. They pushed me into a corner. And that's one thing that you're never going to hear if you are, in fact, a parent of an actor kid. You're not going to hear how that individual had backed me into a corner by shooting off at the mouth, and I snapped, I blew up, and the F word was used. And, I'm going to report this because you're just being so nasty. Well, sure. So, share one side of a story. And by the way, there are lots of disgusting, sleazy pigs on Twitter. I don't know if Facebook is like that, but I do recall quite well when I was on Twitter back then, there are foul, disgusting people on there. And by foul and disgusting, I'm talking about pedophiles, child predators. Twitter is absolutely riddled with them. That's what I tried to point out one time. And, I don't believe you. You don't have to believe me. The proof is there. See who they follow. If you're going to defend... That was my stomach. Anyway, if you're going to defend disgusting, despicable people like child predators or pedophiles, then maybe it's good that we're not friends, because you can clearly see, because they follow you and I know you follow them, you can clearly see the kind of filth and trash that they follow. Now, when I point this out and you get pissed at me because Jared said the F word, oh please, how trivial can you be? How trivial. I'm not a perv, but you have an issue with me saying the F word. Whatever. I think the F word is pretty harmless compared to children being exploited sexually, which is something that is very predominant on Twitter. I haven't spoken about Twitter, though, in years. I used to make videos expressing my discontent with the morons and the fake people on there who want to act all self-righteous when in fact they're the ones who are pigs, and they're deflecting, onto me to make themselves look good. The internet is good for that. People who like to deflect their own wrongdoings onto other people. They want to say, well, it's him you got to watch. Really, it's me that has to be watched because I speak the truth, and I'm a no BS kind of a guy. I never used to be. I used to be very quiet, and I never used to be as outspoken as I am now, because now I'm older and I have a backbone, and they dropped. And when they dropped, it was like thunder, because I'm just tired of people taking advantage of me. I'm tired of people treating me like dirt. I'm tired of being put on a back burner. And I know with some people, especially in the child cancer community, it's understandable, because I'm not looking for attention anyway, but there comes a point where the parents, which is all the time, they have to make their children a number one priority, which is, I have no discretion with that at all. I want you to put your kids first. If you didn't, I would start to question. But I mean, I've done a lot for a lot of people, and they want to put their other friends on display, and it's like I'm back here like, whatever. I mean, there's no drama surrounding me. Not that I'm aware of. I'm not Schroeder from the Peanuts comic strip. I don't have, drama dust and gnats and bugs surrounding me. I'm not filthy in drama. And if there is drama, I try to clear it up and I try to alleviate the problem. But, I found that no matter who you talk to, no matter where you go, there's always going to be some nut job or some liar or some, narcissist or sociopath. Just really deranged, disturbed people who will just go through all lengths and all walks to make sure that you are annihilated. And they use the internet to do that. And it's a quick and easy and simple tool. The internet is a tool to propagate their crap and their agendas and their drama and whatever. I try to maintain a good quality of life by helping people, and even when I write poems for the warriors, I've even had parents say to me, "Oh, they're love poems, and that makes me sick," and all the red flags. I'm expressing, content. I'm expressing a sentiment for a warrior who's going through a similar situation. There's no dirty idea behind it. That's what you thought of. That's in your head. And quite frankly, I'm not responsible for people's assumptions at all. If a term of endearment is something, it's fairly trivial. A term of endearment. If I call someone a sweetie, guess what? It doesn't mean I want to sleep with you. It's just how I show affection. I don't see why it's such a big deal. There's people who call me darling, honey, sugar bunch, muffin, cupcake, whatever. It's no big freaking deal. I can handle it. I'm an adult. I've had women and even guys, if you can believe that. I mean, they call me hun. Okay. I mean, I'm not gay, but whatever. I mean, it's a term of endearment. It doesn't mean they want to sleep with you. Whatever. But anyway, I'm rambling here. I've been here for over an hour now. And it's going to take about 3 hours to upload this video. So I'm going to get going. I'm wide awake though. It's roasting in here. Excuse me. But there's really not a whole lot happening this week, or last week rather. This week is yet to come. I'm doing fine. I mean, other than, I've been hanging out in my room and I'm just kind of down and out about things, and I'll live. I'll get over it. Better days will come, because I know I have people in the world who, in spite of the fact that I have bad days and I'm misunderstood by a lot of people, I still have good-natured people in the world who love me and care about me as much as I love and care about them. And I'm happy to have them in my life, and I don't know what I would do without them. They're good people, and our meeting wasn't, I wish the circumstances could have been different. I wish that the common denominator could have been something other than childhood cancer. I wish I could have met them in public somewhere and just hit it off. But it was childhood cancer that brought us together as friends, and I don't regret the friendship. I just wish the circumstances could have been a tad slightly bit different. But that's okay, because there's people in the world who need me as much as I need them, and I'm happy to be in their life, and I'm happy that they're in mine, and maybe one day I'll get to meet them. There are lots of people I want to meet, and like I said, I just have to save up some money and see what I can do and go from there. So when I can't write, or when I can't have a bird shirt made for the Warrior, I write poetry for them. Or they get both, which is also not a problem at all. It just takes me a while to think up, because I like to rhyme words. That's just my particular taste of poetry, is rhyming words, because of the alliteration involved. Not all poems rhyme. There's people who just write thoughts and they actually express with hand gestures when they talk, like how I'm talking now. I talk with my hands. So the words don't always rhyme, and that's okay. It's still poetry. I've had years of experience at writing poetry, and I'm trying to expand my vocabulary, which I have a pretty extensive vocabulary. But I want to introduce words that I haven't used in poems and add that alliteration, and it makes people wonder, well, wonder what that word means. I've never seen or heard Jared use that kind of word or that kind of language before. Surprise, surprise. Poetry is very subjective, and you express yourself in a lot of ways. My idols, because I'm a fan of 60s and 70s and 80s music, my idols would be like John Lennon from the Beatles, Jim Morrison from the Doors, and these are guys who used art to express themselves, even in a poetic sense. Jimi Hendrix, even, his music was just amazing. And you had guys like Simon and Garfunkel, which, a lot of their stuff, it's poetry. Scarborough Fair. If you read the lyrics of Scarborough Fair, that's poetry all the way. And they made poems into music. So I just love the music of that generation, and that's what my parents grew up listening to. People like, the Beatles and the Doors and Simon and Garfunkel and Hendrix and the Stones and all these just artistically talented, amazing individuals. A lot of them are no longer with us. But man, they really, it was art. When you blend in music with like painting and drawing, oh my gosh, that's just, wow, it fascinates me, and that was the big driving force behind where I took up an interest in poetry. But I've been writing poetry since the 90s, since I was a kid. So I kind of, I kind of know what I'm doing. But anyway, gals and gents, YouTubers, I'm out of here. I've been here for over an hour officially, and I have to finish off a poem. So be sure to, about an hour and 15 minutes. So be sure to check back and look for my new poem video that I'll be adding to my channel here. And I just wanted to say, if you are a first-time viewer of my Sunday video updates, I just wanted to say thank you and much love. And I hope you'll watch again next week. And it may not be as extensive. My videos are usually not this long, but I figured I would take the liberty to discuss a bit about myself and talk to you about what I'm about, what my MO is. I'm a fairly harmless individual. I just want what's best for everybody, including myself. And if it bothers you so much that I actually talk about fraudulent people, well, I mean, I'm not responsible for your aggression or your frustration with me. I'm not responsible for how you feel or how you take it. I'm just telling you the facts. This is what's going on. And if you are a parent who is affected by childhood cancer, you need to be very aware. Very aware. And don't let your guard down. Please don't let your guard down. That happens too much and too often with parents who, well, Jared, you said that he was this and he was that, but I don't see anything wrong. Well, if you can't see anything wrong with being immorally reprehensible and using families to get what you want, whether it be money-wise or ego-wise, then you're never going to see it. And I'll keep you in my thoughts, but until such time, until these people are dealt with accordingly and they're extinguished permanently from the childhood cancer community, I'm not going to be quiet about it. We need more people to speak up and say, look, we're not tolerating this anymore. You're out of here. And there are there are people, there are families, undoubtedly, who will not change their minds. No matter what you say or do, they're not going to change their minds. They refuse to wake up. A lot of people have woken up to him, and it's a him. They have woken up to him, but that wasn't me going door to door, so to speak, and saying, watch out for him. No, what I did was I sat back with my arms crossed, and I let people discover what kind of leeching snake that he really is. And I've had a few people come to me and say, Jared, sorry we didn't listen to you. Well, I'm not looking for an apology. Whether you apologize or not, it's irrelevant. I'm not doing it for the apologies. I did it because I cared about you. I cared about your kids. And I didn't want you to get mixed up with a fraud. I was only looking out for you. I mean, if you want to apologize to me, that's wonderful, because you're admitting when you're wrong. But I'm not looking for an apology. I'm not fishing for an apology. I just want you to be aware of who's out there, who's doing things they shouldn't be doing, and I want you to understand the kind of people you're getting yourself mixed up with. You think they're role models, you think they're class acts. They're not. They're not. And I don't really have anything more to say about that, other than watch your back and educate yourself. And if you have any questions, please email me. My email address is in the About tab section of this video, or of this channel rather. Let's have a talk. In fact, if we chat through email, maybe we could arrange a cell phone conversation. I would love to hear your voice over the phone. We can have, or we can Skype or video chat through Messenger. We can do these things. I want to have a civilized conversation. I don't want to fight. I want you to understand who and what you're getting yourself mixed up with. And even if you disagree with anything I have to say, well, I'm sorry. But it is what it is. And one day I hope you will open your eyes. And I hope you'll understand that I'm not as bad as everybody says I am. I mean, they're just mad at me. It's retaliation. And one of the things that I think is happening is the reason why they won't admit that they're wrong about my opposition is because it's a way of getting back at me. I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to subject your children to an individual who is a liar and a thief as a way of getting back at me. Don't do it for me, to get back at me. Don't do me any favors. You should be looking out for your kids. You should be putting their best interest first at heart all the time without missing a beat. You need to keep clear of people who are fraudulent, and they display that. They come on social media and they say the most ignorant, obnoxious, absurd things. I've seen the screenshot of what he said. How much money should families get in fundraisers when treatment options have exhausted? Of course, he didn't word it that way. He didn't phrase it that way because he's not eloquent that way. So I'm paraphrasing, but it was in that same neighborhood. It was to the same tune. And there's people defending him. Why on earth would you defend someone who comes onto a social media platform knowing that people are going to be pissed? They're going to be angry and frustrated. These are oncology parents who are going to be more than angry with you. Why would you be so stupid to say something so selfish and ignorant? You know there's going to be backlash. And the only logical reason that I can come up with is that this person who would say something like that in a public forum, he likes drama. He likes attention surrounding him all the time. Whether it's good or bad, he likes attention. And when someone is against him in any way, shape, or form, then he starts throwing out legal descriptions and legal labels and legal terms, slander and libel, not liable, libel, libelous. He throws out slander, and he throws out this, and he throws out that, defamation, and all these other legal terms, which he's guilty of the same thing. He's slandered my name, but I'm not going to sue. I don't threaten with litigation. And it's not because I'm weak. I just don't have time for petty crap. If anybody really and truly has a problem with me, they know how to engage in conversation with me. They know how to contact me. It's not hard to understand. It's not hard to figure out. Like I said, I can be reached by email, by phone, Skype, whatever. Just before you fly off the handle and before you go off the deep end, why don't you just come to me first? If you hear something that is derogatory or negative or just flat out stupid about me, please tell me. Because there's a whole bandwagon of retaliation going on between me and this nitwit who he just can't get his crap together, and he's using pediatric cancer families to leech and sponge, and he's doing it one by one. And, well, I'll defend him any day of the week. Well, then I guess you're a moron, and you're defending fraudulent behavior. So, anyway, I have rambled more and longer than I really wanted to. I have other things to do today, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. And I will be posting more poem videos to my YouTube channel. And I will see you all next week. Same place, same time, same bear channel, same bear time. These are random. Whenever I do them, I do them. But anyway, this is Jerry Bear signing off. Much love and peace. Take care.